first step of venison French dip sliders. Roast a leg. Thermal halt at 163. Tomorrow we will slice and make au jus out of the sauce. Got the au jus going. Celery, carrots, onions, bones, and all the good stuff. All right, for French dip slicing, you want it pretty thin. All right, got the meat all sliced up. Copious amounts of salt and pepper. I'm just gonna put this back in the oven on warm. Got my au jus looking good. It seems like us as hunters, we enjoy venison, right? Or for the most part. But sometimes maybe we don't utilize it as a meal when friends are coming over or you're having a gathering or something and there's just a worry that people aren't going to like venison. Well, one of the things that I've learned is don't say anything and they won't know. And those that know, because eventually they catch on, it opens their mind because it tastes great. So what I'm doing today is I'm using the one of the hindquarters that on the buck that Holly shot. And we're having a little family birthday gathering for Holly. And so I roasted it in the oven to about a medium, for a French dip. I typically like my meat a lot more rare, but for a French dip style, you want something kind of tender that's gonna, if it's red and bloody in the middle, it's gonna be a little bit tougher also. So, I think you saw I got to like 163. It probably went to 170 this morning when I heated it back up for slicing. But somewhere in that ballpark. And at any rate, so that's what the plan is. We're going to be making French dip venison sliders for 20 people or so. And so I got that medium plus probably on the temperature on the meat, and then making an au jus. I will melt some Swiss cheese on some little brioche buns, and would imagine it's going to be excellent and delicious. And I actually did like a trial run last weekend on just a couple with some leftover meat that I had, and they turned out great. So I'm excited, and hopefully others will see, there's ways to incorporate this, right? And that it goes great with using the entire shoulder, right? So that's one of my favorite ways to put up venison is the, just the quarter them up and either smoke them right then or grill them right then or bake them right then for making French dips or whatever, or freeze them whole. It works out really well, and you can use it for these things. I cooked an entire meal for an entire football team once with 2 hindquarters, I think. So it's a great way to feed a lot of people. It's a hell of a lot better than having to cater with shitty food or buying pizzas and all that. It's just that stuff doesn't hold a candle to homemade venison French dip slider. Another little tip is, this meat has just kind of fallen in order, I guess you could say, as it has been sliced. So One of the things that, every part of the leg tastes a little bit different. So you really want to mix it up to where you've got a good variety all throughout, or like a homogeneous mixture here. That way, because the different flavor profiles and moisture contents especially, and the tenderness of the different meats in the different places, you kind of want to mix that up. It will create a better product for all. What a play by Mahomes to tie it up, reaching for the pylon. All right, so on to the venison French dip sliders. I'm just gonna take these little brioche buns, these little slider buns. I did this yesterday for our gathering, but everybody showed up, so I couldn't really video. So then we got a few hoagies also. Like to butter them up, and then sprinkle them with garlic salt, and then bake them. I like to bake them on high, 450, 500, something like that. Gotta be careful with your convection though, because you'll char the edges. So butter, garlic salt, and then hit them in the oven for a little bit before adding the cheese. That way you get a good toasted bun and not burnt cheese with a soft middle of your bun. Got them all buttered up. Pretty liberal with the garlic salt. We will toast these suckers and then cheese them for the second round of toasting. All right, so we got them at a delicate golden brown. So for the traditional French dip slider, I'm just gonna use Swiss cheese. But we actually are running a little bit short on the sliced venison. So I will be adding some shredded venison and making a little bit different, not a traditional French dip, more of a like a shredded pulled venison, on which I'm going to use a combination of smoked provolone, sharp provolone, and Swiss. I might add a little bit of the smoked provolone to the classic French dip style also. And then we'll go back in the oven. I'm also heating up the meat at the same time, so that after the cheese is done, I just need to marry them all and we will eat well. All right, just got done with broiling the cheese. Just monitor it, whether or not you're doing a high temperature bake or, you go to the broil. So I just took it to the broil, and now we will marry the two. And if you're cooking for a large group, then you would just I put them in an aluminum foil container yesterday and just covered them with a towel, and that worked out really well. Tonight it's just dinner, so I'll be back in a second. Venison French dip sliders. Cheers.